Welcome to this explainer. Look, today we're cutting right through the hype. No more vague conversations about what large language models are or how to write a better prompt. You already know all that. Instead, we're handing you a very concrete C-suite playbook designed to unlock scalable enterprise value using an autonomous digital workforce. So if you're an executive trying to figure out how to translate artificial intelligence into actual bottom-line impact, you are in exactly the right place.
Let's start with a genuinely jarring reality, drawn straight from the data. Nearly 78% of companies have deployed GenAI in some form across their organizations. 78%. That's practically everyone. But here's the catch. Almost that exact same percentage report zero material impact on their bottom line. So we're basically looking at a situation where the technology is literally everywhere except in the company P&L.
This brings us to what we call the GenAI Paradox: widespread deployment, but minimal impact. Why is this happening? Well, it's because organizations have spent the last couple of years deploying these horizontal copilots. Tools that help individuals type emails faster or summarize a meeting. It's essentially the equivalent of upgrading everyone's power steering. I mean, sure, it's nice, but it doesn't actually drive the car for you. The real value lies in deeply embedding AI into core vertical business processes, but right now, less than 10% of those function-specific use cases ever make it out of the pilot phase.
Okay, let's dive into the briefing. Today, we're going to cover the strategic shift to agents, high ROI enterprise use cases, governance and the agentic mesh, rebuilding your organizational architecture, and we'll wrap up with a concrete 90-day executive roadmap.
Section 1. The strategic shift. From copilots to autonomous agents. Getting this right requires a fundamental shift in how we actually view artificial intelligence.
The contrast here is literally night and day. We have to transition away from reactive horizontal tools and move toward proactive vertical multi-agent systems. Think about it. First-generation AI basically sat around waiting for a human prompt. It was essentially a digital intern. Agentic AI, on the other hand, understands a broader goal, breaks that goal down into subtasks, interacts with your systems, executes the actions, and actually adapts in real time. We aren't just talking about productivity tools anymore. This is a massive digital workforce expansion.
Section 2. High ROI enterprise use cases. Reinventing workflows. Let's look at how this builds into concrete operations where agentic AI drives exponential efficiency.
This is a brilliant illustration of process reinvention, specifically in a customer call center context. In the old model, a human managed every single step and maybe used AI to retrieve a help article, right? That gives you maybe a 5 to 10% time saving. But by fully reinventing the process, shifting from GenAI-assisted humans to autonomous agents that proactively detect issues, diagnose them, and automatically resolve level 1 incidents, we see something absolutely incredible. Resolution times drop by a staggering 60 to 90%, and up to 80% of level 1 incidents are handled without any human intervention at all. Think about what that does to your operational overhead. Suddenly, your human workers become high-value escalation managers rather than routine task executors.
And we're seeing a similarly massive impact in retail banking. Previously, you'd have relationship managers spending days manually extracting data, analyzing it, and drafting credit risk memos. Now, with multi-step agentic workflows, the system itself handles data extraction, requests any missing information, performs the analysis, and provides an initial rating completely independently. This is driving a 30% faster decisioning speed and a 20 to 60% productivity gain. The human's role shifts entirely to strategic review and handling the exceptions.
Whether we are talking about supply chain logistics, automated code-based refactoring, or modernizing legacy banking apps, the structural change is exactly the same. Before agents, you were dealing with sequential human handoffs and constant workflow bottlenecks. After agents, you have highly elastic, parallel execution handled by squads of specialized AI agents. This fundamentally changes your cycle times because your digital execution capacity can expand or contract in real time, depending entirely on the workload.
Section 3. Governance and agentic mesh. The human in the loop. Now, let's be realistic for a second. Scaling this kind of autonomy introduces entirely new systemic risks.
Uncontrolled agent sprawl, fragmentation, rogue system access, these are very real threats. So to maintain order, enterprises absolutely have to implement an agentic AI mesh. Think of this as the air traffic control tower for your AI. It's a vendor-agnostic, modular architectural layer that centralizes observability, permissions, and multi-agent coordination.
It basically allows custom-built agents and off-the-shelf agents to securely communicate across your enterprise systems without being hardwired to just one single platform. This is how you effectively prevent shadow IT and agent sprawl. The crucial takeaway here is establishing a framework for governed autonomy. This is where operational risk dictates exactly how much independence an agent actually gets. For low-risk things like routine data processing, you allow high automation. For medium-risk tasks like customer communication, agents operate semi-autonomously but with mandatory human oversight. And for high-risk decisions, think strategic capital allocation or complex compliance issues, the process remains strictly human-led. You have to map out clear escalation pathways for human overseers from day one.
Section 4. Rebuilding organizational architecture. You can have the best agentic mesh in the world, but if your org chart hasn't evolved, you're going to fail to capture the value.
Deploying this level of intelligence successfully means rethinking our talent and team structures entirely. We have to transition our workforce from being manual executors to being agent orchestrators. The old model relied heavily on these siloed AI centers of excellence that built models in a vacuum. The new model requires cross-functional transformation squads. You have to embed AI natively into business processes alongside domain experts and process designers. And perhaps most importantly, how we measure success has to change. We absolutely must transition from task volume KPIs to outcome-based KPIs. We need to focus strictly on business value, not just tracking how many tasks an AI completed.
Section 5. The 90-day executive roadmap. Strategy is great, but execution is quite literally everything. To break out of the passive experimentation phase, the C-suite has to act immediately. Here is your immediate mandate as a leader mapped out over 90 days. In month 1, days 1 through 30, you need to formally end those unscalable, low ROI pilots. Audit your data readiness and identify your top bottleneck workflows. In month 2, establish your strategic AI council. Bring your business leaders, HR, and IT together to initialize that technical foundation. And finally, by month 3, launch a high-value agentic lighthouse project. Put strict safety bounds on it, measure the ROI rigorously, and then use that success to scale across your functional units. Yes, it's an aggressive timeline, but it's a necessary one.
This leaves us with a pretty stark question. Look closely at your current investments. Are you actually prepared to orchestrate a fully autonomous digital workforce that drives real enterprise value? Or are you really just upgrading your employees' typing tools?
The GenAI experimentation phase? It's officially over. Tinkering on the edges just won't cut it anymore. The time to architect your competitive advantage through deep, governed, agentic AI is today. So as your competitors begin deploying their autonomous workforces tomorrow, what is your legacy going to be? Thank you so much for joining this explainer, and we'll see you next time.